Hey, what's up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Thank you for your patience. I'm happy to be back. And of course, we have a ton of stuff to cover here, which we'll be doing over the next week or so as I post more and more videos. But man, I'm happy to be back posting here. And of course, we have a list of things to talk about, from UFOs to strange things seen in our skies, things happening with Mother Earth that may or may not be hinting to some pretty big things coming, and well, that is going to be for you guys to find out and decide. So the first thing I want to start off with today is the spotting of a NASA aircraft, registered NASA aircraft, that was captured by multiple sources who are also reporting on this, and I'll go ahead and reference the one I saw here in just a minute, but it was noticed that this NASA aircraft was doing these sort of just really strange but precise zigzag flying patterns near and over the San Andreas fault line in California. Now, what is the San Andreas fault line? If you don't know yet, well, it's a massive fault that runs up and through California that basically connects and forms the tectonic boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. And for this reason, that we have this place where two major tectonic plates touch, the San Andreas fault line is very important. And it's usually always the subject of some up-and-coming earthquake event that is going to reshape the entire California coast, set off potentially the big one, the big earthquake. And so any of you who may want to have at least an idea of what could happen should the San Andreas fault start to crack, well, you can watch the movie San Andreas, which came out, I think, a couple of years ago, which kind of went into detail of the worst case scenarios of what would happen to the coast and the surrounding areas. And so as you're seeing here, aviation aficionados were watching these different aircraft when they noticed a NASA aircraft flying over California and on multiple routes was seen doing this strange zigzag pattern across these fault lines in California, as well as Idaho, where it's said that there are other possible mega volcanoes lying dormant deep underneath. And so here we are on FlightAware, where you can see on multiple different days the aircraft takes off, it flies near or over some of these fault lines, and does this zigzag pattern, almost as if it's scanning the ground, trying to get some more data as to what is happening underneath. And with all of the pretty massive earthquakes recently that have occurred in California, it really does make one wonder why for days now, and there are other days here where it would seem they are doing these strange zigzag patterns in other areas of California. What is going on? Is something occurring? And they've recently understood that there are other fault lines that are merely connected or that run off of the San Andreas fault that could trigger something massive as well. For instance, here's another report speaking of the recent Ridgecrest earthquake and how it was basically a tiny taste of the possible destruction that could be caused by the San Andreas fault. And so be sure to check that out. I'll put the link down below. But what for? And why is this NASA aircraft scanning what appears to be along the San Andreas fault line and connecting fault lines? What do they know? Are they gearing up for something? Do they know the big one is coming? Well, we can only post more when we have more information, so we won't, inject any further doom and gloom into this video, but I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention, and I'll put the links and articles about this down below, as well as a link to the site where you can check out the flight patterns yourselves. Now next, and this may have something to do with it or not, we've talked many times about the strange things happening underground, and it would appear that they are now monitoring these things underground. The tectonic plates, the mystery booms and rumbles that have been heard under the ground across the globe. We've also recently had a lot of reports of strange, massive lightning storms, or what appear to be lightning storms, but that won't actually feature any lightning bolts or thunder afterwards. Or if they do, the thunder will appear in one large boom and then disappear as the lightning continues, and you'll hear no more thunder before or after. It's really strange. And you're seeing one of these mystery atmospheric lightning storms that just occurred over the UK, and that was apparently freaking out a number of their residents because of the lack of lightning and for this one single loud, soul-crushing boom that you will hear in the footage. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it there, but this original clip was about 7 minutes long, and we don't hear the first sign of any thunder whatsoever until about 2.5 minutes into the video. That's 2.5 minutes after hundreds of these bright flashes. And then you don't hear anything after that, which is really strange. And so, these have been happening around the world, these sort of lightningless storms, thunderless storms. Even the temperatures aren't right for so-called heat lightning, and so what's creating them? And then we had another recent story where two separate groups of hikers who were hiking up these same mountain peaks had to turn around after the hair on their arms and their heads started to stand up, and they noticed this very obvious electrical current moving through the air that put them in fear for their lives. So you're seeing an image of that here, and here is a clip from the Denver News that covered this strange electrical phenomenon as well.
Well, how about an electric current so powerful it caused a hair to stand on end while you're on top of a 14er?
It happened on 2 different mountains this past weekend, and Denver 7's Jessica Porter spoke with the hikers and explains how to keep this from happening to you.
That was my 10th 14er, but that was craziest one.
John Savage and Anna Duncan thought they did everything right. They left early Sunday, checked the weather forecast, and brought the right gear for their hike up Mount Evans.
You look at the sky, it's bright blue, everything's great. Then it got bad.
At nearly 14,000 feet, a storm started moving in, so they rushed to the parking lot near the top to get a ride down. That's when Anna snapped this picture of John's hair standing straight up.
I was hearing crackling inside of my head and a weird buzzing whistling that gave me the willies.
My walking poles, they would tingle and there would be a shock. It would be about 50 volts that would arc from the metal to my hand. That was crazy. I didn't realize my hair was up on end.
The same day, Lori Corliss says she and over 30 hikers were running down Mount Princeton for their lives. With no clouds or lightning, they started getting shocked by electricity.
We all started feeling our hair stand up, skin was tingling, everything was zapping us, the backpacks, the poles, and we just screamed, said, "Everybody run."
Chief meteorologist.
Okay, so really strange. Some meteorologists chalk it up to, well, if there's a storm nearby, you're going to have a very charged up atmosphere. However, I have other reports here from hikers that have been up at these peaks, nothing but clear blue skies, and will just feel this very strange and very almost ominous electrical current begin surrounding them and their equipment. So, it's literally, there's something going on in our skies, in our atmosphere. Things are going on down below. And it's not just strange weather or earthquakes, because lastly, I want to show you guys some clips that were taken of some more UFO activity occurring around the world, 2 of which are what I can only describe as fleets of lights, one after the other, one seen here in America, the next seen overseas. I'm going to show you the one here in America first because, okay, it's something we've seen before. We can use it for context, but the second one seen just makes this one look like nothing, So here is the first clip of the so-called fleet of UFOs moving very quickly through the skies above Casper, Wyoming.
Mom, look! What are those? They're glowing.
My camera sucks.
What are they?
I don't know. Drones, maybe? They're either drones or aliens.
There's so many of them. I couldn't be
Where are they going, though? Where?
Okay, so very interesting clip. Multiple objects could be drones, may not be drones, I don't know, but what I do know is these things are moving extremely fast. There are points in the footage where it appears that these things will appear from out of nowhere and sort of form triangular formations as they're moving through the sky, and others will disappear. So the jury's still out on this. I have no idea, but it's very similar to other sort of fleet or UFO orb videos that I've posted in the past. So if that clip was interesting to you, check out this one that was just posted and captured in the skies above Bogota, Colombia.
Ovnis en Colombia. Ovnis. Mire. Y después digan que no se lo dije que eran ovnis. Ovnis en Colombia. Mire, ovnis en Bogotá, Colombia.
Okay, so whereas in the first clip we had maybe 30 or 40 lights slowly drifting through the sky, here it looks like thousands of objects, and I can't tell if these things are self-illuminating or if they're reflecting light or not, but there looks to be thousands of them. And this guy who's recording it, obviously totally taken aback. He's trying to get the best footage he can, but we have a massive fleet of objects here that seem to be holding in formation. They're not all just going one way or the other. They're holding this strange blob of a shape as they slowly drift through the night sky, and it's very, very eerie. So, like I said, if you thought the first clip was interesting, or maybe something you've seen before, I knew that this one would really make you have to sit back and say, okay, what was just seen above Colombia? So, big thanks to the viewer who posted that, and the links to all of these I'll put down below. So, yeah, with that, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and jump off here and get back to work. Like I said, I'm happy to be back. I appreciate your patience, so stay tuned, subscribe, share, and I will see you all back in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.